Let's turn to golf next, where we have the Valspar Championship approaching. However, we told you at the top of the show, you boosted up Cam Young to win at 40-1 last weekend, and you had some other bets in the works last weekend as well.
Yeah, Cam Young was great for us. Here it is from Bet365. Yeah, he was great. He was in our top 5 overall probabilities, so it was nice to see him come through. Tommy Fleetwood was a roller coaster this week, but he did cash top 10 and top 20. Both of those were plus money, highlighted in the article on site. We had Fleetwood with an edge for, I think, top 5 and top 10 on Sunday or Saturday. I dropped it in the Discord. I played that. He ended up getting the top 10 plus 200 there live on Saturday. So that was solid. All 3 of the top winners in the article on site finished top 20, which was nice. Henley, Fleetwood, and Young. So the top of the board was really dialed in. Jake Knapp and Harry Hall, our 2 long shots, both got cut. Knapp's first finish outside at T11 this year, missed the cut by 1. Was very surprised to see him. I guess I gave him the kiss of death, putting him in the top 20 parlay with Cam Young. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was going to get it too, just on the edge of the cut and then sneak his way in to the top 20, but he didn't. I'm sure he'll bounce back in his next appearance, though. He's been absolutely on fire this year. So this week we're going to the Valspar Championship to wrap up the Florida swing of events. Innisbrook's Copperhead course is the only course that's hosted this event in all 25 editions. Plays as the hardest of not only the 4 Florida events, but one of the hardest par 71s among all non-major tournaments over the past 3 years. Runs a little over 7,350 yards. Thick rough, elevation changes, and because it's so difficult, unsurprisingly, one of the most difficult offerings of par 5s on the PGA Tour for really tough holes. Narrow fairways see guys utilize a lot of less than driver off the tee. Really short driving distance on this one compared to most courses on tour. You'll see it probably around 50%, maybe shifted one way or the other, of guys not even using the driver. Notorious run, 16th to 18th hole, the Snake Pit. Last year's field averaged almost a half stroke over par across the 3. Really tough stretch down at the end of the 18 holes that could upend the leaderboard, which is exactly what it did last year. Justin Thomas was going in 7 under par there and went bogey on 16-18, lost by 1 to Victor Hovland. Looks like we're going to have good weather this week, so we have that in our favor, which is a nice change of pace for most of these Florida events. We've run into delays because of weather, I think, at all 3, which is unfortunate because it messes with our updated predictions and stealing some value after round 1. Pretty big field, 135 golfers, not quite as loaded as last week. Of course, got 9 of the top 25 ranked golfers, though, still, so it's pretty stacked as far as, your mid-tier events are concerned. Cut is top 65 and ties, 135 total golfers, so you'll see about half of them get through. And key stats to look for if you are going beyond the Dimers projections: look for guys who are good on approach, good around the green, and if they check those boxes, you want them to be good putters. Putting is really important here too. Winners tend to stand out in that regard, but it's like a complementary stat to being able to actually reach the greens. So you have to check kind of those other boxes first. And then if you also have good putting, they should have the advantage on paper anyway. Not a lot of notable storylines, I'd say. Nobody really making their debut or returning. Victor Hovland's back to defend his title, which, as mentioned, he won down the stretch with the Snake Pit biting Justin Thomas. And let's get into some of the value. Bring up the predictions here and see what we got. It's mostly top loaded this week, which isn't super uncommon. However, there's no Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy in the field eating up, 15 to 30% of the probability. So it's kind of interesting to still see the value at the top, despite, Xander Schauffele here leading with just under 10%. So we'll mostly just focus on these top 3 guys right here. As far as edges are concerned, I got a couple guys to watch. to keep on your radar. And when I was putting together my notes, I did not have our confirmation on this week's boost, but it came through before the show. So I will throw that in here and we'll talk about that as well. So Xander Schauffele at the top, 9.7%. You can get him fair. Fair odds would be plus 930. You can get him at 11-1 on a few books here. So it's rare, I think, to see that the favorite for the Dimers model is inside 10-1, if not, one of those big heavy hitters. And not that Xander isn't a heavy hitter, but even in a wide open field, our model's saying he should not even be plus 1,000. So that's a pretty good sign of his upside here. He started to make a move last week, and I thought he was going to wrap it up pretty much, but undid himself with a third round 74, still finished solo third. So he's very dangerous. 4 straight top 25s since a cut, and 41st place finish to start the year. 2 top 10s in that span. He's got a pair of T12s and a T5 in his 3 appearances here. Only 2 rounds over par over those 3 appearances. So he's great at this spot. He's our model's favorite. You're also going to get good value on him for a top 10 finish as well. So he's short by comparison to the field, but he looks like a really good bet based on form, course history, and model value. Going just second, you got Matt Fitzpatrick. Thought he was going to sink our chances of Cam Young winning this past week, but he didn't sink the putt, set up our man for the tap-in win. He's been really sharp this year, 2 top 10s, 2 other top 25s, but a mixed bag at Copperhead. He's got 2 missed cuts and a T5, so hit both ends of the spectrum as far as results are concerned. Pretty well-rounded game this year with some positives, ranking 15th on approach, really good scoring, mixed with some negatives, ranks 104th in putting and scrambling from the rough, so well below the field average there. Not tons of value in the placements, at least from like a high edge perspective, but you are getting a little bit here at 25% plus 340 for top 5, almost 40% plus 175 for top 10. This would be about plus 155, I believe, for fair odds. So you are getting a little bit of an edge on him in placements. Minus 120 at top 20. He's one of only 3 golfers with minus odds for a top 20, which is a little bit notable, but not really a ton of value in that regard. And then Akshay Bhatia, 6% to win. You can actually get him as long as 22-1 on Bet365, but he's an edge all the way out to plus 1560. So you're pretty much good on him no matter where you go. Started out looking like a rough year for him with 2 missed cuts. That looks like a distant memory now. Hasn't finished worse than T16 with 3 top 10s. A pair of those are top 5s, plus his playoff win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which we caught with value at 12-1 after his pretty solid start, and he was still 5 back. So the model's loving the value on Bhatia this year, and now we're getting it pre-tournament. Wish he was a little longer because that's pretty, he hasn't been this short all season, but he's been very good, and this field isn't loaded, so it makes sense. His course history here is not really unlike his season. Missed the cut his first 2 appearances before finishing with a T17 last year in his best finish. Very hard to find faults in his game. Ranks 9th on approach, 26th in scrambling, 10th in putting, which is that bonus we talked about, 27th in bogey avoidance. Really only hit to his game is off the tee where he's a little bit below field average, but that should kind of level out a bit here because it's very difficult and everybody's less accurate here. You also find an edge on him all the way out top 20 plus money here at 52%. So he should be minus odds. So you could ladder him up pretty confidently, even if the edges aren't enormous. This should be inside plus 400. So that's still a solid edge there. He would be a guy that, like I said, I would probably ladder him up this week. You'll find an edge here on Ben Griffin. I'm off the Ben Griffin train right now. He's just getting worse lately. Probably why you're getting these odds on him. You'll see 35-1 and the other guys around him are, a little bit shorter. Even down here, Jordan Spieth, 25-1, and he's a shorter probability. But I can't get behind Ben Griffin with what I've seen. Bolder bettors than I am will have to take a shot on him this week. Three golfers that I think you should just look at. Not a ton of value on them. Actually, one of them does now because he's our boost. So we'll talk about him first, actually. And that is Jacob Bridgman. We got him with a boost here. Covering up the odds. We got him from plus 2,200 up to plus 2,500 at Bet365. This guy's 26 years old, having a ridiculous season. He's ranked first in FedEx Cup points this year, won the Genesis, has 2 other top 5s, 4 other top 20s, hasn't finished worse than T18 this year, leads the field in strokes gained putting. He's a fair play as short as plus 1,800. So even if you can't get the Bet365 boost, you'll get an edge on Bridgman. You can also get an edge on him for a top 20. He is plus 130 at 49%, gets the little Dimers model flame for a top 20 finish. And while we're on the subject of Bridgman, we also have a little top 20 finish of him and Batia to both finish top 20 at Bet365. Got that from plus 300 up to plus 341. Batia 51.9%, Bridgman 49.1%. Very high probabilities, both of them in the top 5, which is pretty much what I've been looking at to get these top 20 parlays, is just 2 guys the model likes probability-wise. And it doesn't hurt that we're getting a little bit of an edge on them, so the model favors them a little bit more. And then just real quick, the other 2 golfers to take a look at. Austin Smotherman, he's way down here. Let me find him, actually. 0.8%, plus 6,000. Real deep cut here. He's been either great or bad this year. T2, T8, T13 on the great side, 3 cuts and a withdrawal on the other. Accurate driver, great on approach, bad putter. No value at all, but he's a guy to watch because he's been so volatile. You just can't be surprised if you see him in the mix, either early for like a first round leader or late coming up there and stealing a top 10 or something. And then one last guy, he's not even that much further down here, only 0.5%, but 125 to 1, Billy Horschel. I don't have a major case for this guy other than his win probability is similar to, some of these other guys. Davis Thompson, he's 0.6 and only 55 to 1. Thorbjorn Olesen, he's 0.5%, only 80 to 1. But it's worth noting Billy Horschel's an 8-time PGA Tour winner, season best T13 at the Arnold Palmer before he took the players off. He finished T12 and T4 in his last 2 appearances here, improving on 3 cuts and T54 previously. So only 0.5% to win. But sometimes you got to sprinkle a couple of these long shots because you never know where they're going to end up in the leaderboard. So guy to watch. Plenty of guys in terms of odds compared to, where the other guys sit around them here. Zach Blair, 200 to 1.5%. It's a crazy long shot there, but Billy Horschel, 8-time PGA Tour winner with a T4 at this course last year. So certainly got some upside.
Very nice. Okay. Give me your personal winner pick, not necessarily your favorite bet, but call your shot. Who's winning this tournament?
Batia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it. I think I'm on Fitz. I like Fitz as my outright play this week, but interesting field. Like some of the big names on earth, but then like a pretty large drop off to the rest of it,
Yeah, which is, why you got Schauffele at 11 to 1 here. But yeah, it's him and Fitz, and then kind of everybody else feels like when you talk about at least the heavy hitters.
It's
from a name recognition standpoint.
Spotty, to say the least. An interesting group this tournament. But all right, there's your Valspar preview. Thank you, as always, Dave. Ride the hot hand, which is the Dimers Models hand, but with Dave's hand alongside the steering. Let's get there. Dimers Pro, 3-day free trial going on right now with the app, only on the apps. Download the Dimers app. Make sure you get access to Dimers Pro for the next 3 days.